Hey guys, how we doing? Back in another video from Totally Not Mark, doing these Dragon Ball character analysis videos. Really do like these. They are good. This one is on Jiren. And yeah, I had a lot of complaints about Jiren. He was built up to be like absolute badass, and then we got absolutely no reasoning behind his backstory. I mean, not no reasoning, but he wasn't interesting, basically, my opinion. I didn't find him interesting at all. He was just a big rock for everyone to just punch really hard. What happened around him was cool. The way Goku and Frieza had to team up, and 17, and da-da-da-da. That was all awesome fan service-y kind of stuff. But Jiren himself, I thought, was quite plain and bland, and could have had a lot more going on. So let's see what Totally Not Mark has to say about the matter. Jiren, the terrible antagonist.
Jiren the Grey. Few characters in modern Dragon Ball evoke more debate, division, and conflict from their fan base than this character.
Yeah.
Having only made his debut in the Dragon Ball continuity towards the beginning of 2017, Jiren has been labeled everything from boring to stoic, from laughable to exhilarating, and everything in between. So, as I always do, I took to my Twitter to put up a poll that asked the question, did you enjoy Jiren's character?
No.
The options being yes and no.
No.
In 24 hours,
This has to stop.
3,226 votes were cast, leaving a mostly split consensus on the topic. 48% claiming they enjoyed his character, while 52 proclaimed they did not. Let me know what your thoughts are here on YouTube. Click above. But today, I will be diving deep into this volatile, contentious topic, examining the story structure of the universe survival arc, identifying where its faults lie, and taking a close look at how Jiren's character plays into the story as its antagonist and the most powerful fighter in the multiverse.
Yo. Alright. Yo.
To begin our deconstruction of the Jiren character, let's start with a quote from Robert McKee's book, Story.
Oh, okay.
The axiom show, don't tell warns against dialogue that substitutes passive explanations for dynamic dramatizations. To show means to present a scene in an authentic setting populated with believable characters struggling towards their desires. To tell means to force characters to halt their pursuits and talk instead at a length about their thoughts and feelings.
Right.
What this means is, in order for your viewers to build a believable connection with your hero, it's much more effective to see him or her struggle, to see them do something courageous and brave, rather than to hear that they are struggling or brave. For example, the very first time we see Harry Potter in his first movie, he is celebrating his birthday alone, living with an abusive, selfish family, sleeping in a bed under the stairs.
So you
this
understand
communicates
it.
to the viewer visually that Harry has had a hard life where he's been wrongfully
You're not being told he has a hard life.
unremarkable and a nuisance. But Harry, despite all of this, finds the good where he can and soldiers on. And that is character. In the very first episode of BBC's Sherlock, we are introduced to the titular character as he opens a body bag to examine it and to beat it with a riding crop before relaying specific information to the person working there to inform him how long it takes before bruises form. This communicates to us that he is eccentric, highly intelligent, and doesn't deal with human interaction gracefully.
No,
that again
not very,
is
like,
character.
not like other
this was
people.
the very first time we saw Jiren in Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah.
Speaking on the topic of showing off
Oh
and
my
introducing
God.
characters and stories, General Apocalypse had this to say.
There are only 3 ways you can show off your characters. What the character says, what the character does, and what others say about the character.
About him, yeah.
Those are the 3 ways. And if you don't have them interact with anyone, the only one you get is what others say about the character, and that's the worst one of the
Man,
3.
Jiren sure is strong.
A lot
I
of
want to know why
it
Jiren's
is
so cool.
tell, don't show, which you should never do.
This is boss.
And I can't say I disagree. Before we see Jiren, we are told that he is impossibly strong, stronger than a god of destruction, but we aren't shown this. We are instead lectured through clunky,
Constantly
unnatural
just
exposition,
told.
and that's not good enough. It's giving us the information we need to understand the story, but nothing to understand his character or who he is or what he wants. The first time we're introduced to Vegeta, he is seen eating something he just killed. The first time we meet Frieza, he is slaughtering a Namekian
Yeah, it's like you can
while
see
smiling.
that they
And the
don't
first
mess
time
about.
we see Cell, we find that he has been preying on the local inhabitants of a city in the most terrifying
You know
ways.
them.
Even the character of Goku Black was captivating for a number of reasons, but
Yeah.
in addition to that, his unveiling was one of the absolute best villain debuts in the entire series.
I loved it.
Not just Super, the entire series.
I loved it.
お前はもう死んでいる。何？
In his video discussing what makes a villain feel real,
Super Eye Patch Wolf,
Super Eye Patch Wolf points out that the word antagonist from its Greek roots loosely translates to mean the one who initiates change. And that's the job of the antagonist in many ways, to be the one that creates the need for the protagonist to take specific action. And yet I've described Jiren as a passive antagonist. One might think that these two words should be mutually exclusive, yet here we are. He doesn't show interest in Goku or the tournament. He's
No,
there
in
on
anything.
obligation much the same way as any of the other characters. He has no control over the situation beyond his supposed strength, which we still haven't seen, and with that, reveals one of the arc's fundamental issues. There are two antagonistic forces in this arc that cannot work without the other, and neither are working together. And what I mean by that is, the tension that forces the conflict for this arc is the looming threat of Universe 7's destruction.
Being destroyed,
and that tension
yeah.
comes from both the monumental task of eliminating Jiren and the threat the two Zenos have imposed on the losers. The tension and suspense comes from both of these things together at once. Without the Zenos' threat of destroying everyone but the winner, the arc loses all of its sense of suspense and tension, because we don't have any reason to believe the other universes would do anything nefarious with
Yeah,
the
like,
Super Dragon
there's
Balls.
no-
And on
yeah,
the
there's
other
nothing.
hand, if Jiren didn't exist, then there wouldn't be any stakes either, because Universe 7 would steamroll the competition.
Yeah, they would.
Which means, in theory, there is no villain, there is technically no antagonist, the two forces that are creating the tension are not working together. So therefore, the tension is entirely circumstantial. This is an issue because defeating Jiren is made the goal of the arc, and he alone isn't what creates the tension in the first place. Moriarty in Sherlock is a captivating and gripping scene stealer because he is the one that dictated the pace and conflict of the entire story up until that point. Yes, he had more power than Sherlock, much the same way Jiren has more power than Goku, but power alone does not a good character make. Moriarty was a great character because he had a motivation to create conflict that engaged with
reasoning.
Sherlock specifically. His character was established and we knew his personality as well as the heroes. And that's the problem. Goku is just another fighter to Jiren until he is told specifically to target him by another person. Without knowing Jiren's wants, his goals, his personality...
We didn't know anything
all we have
about
to
him, it was
latch
so
onto as a
boring.
viewer is Goku and the rest of the established
Here's a
cast.
big rock to
I don't
punch.
have anything against Jiren at this point. I don't like him or dislike him. And so, because of that, the Tournament of Power is much more like a sporting event, rooting for your team because, hey, it's the team you know, rather than an actual story with any sort of structure, tangible antagonistic force, or payoff. At least none that aren't already present in sports games. As a result of this fact, the crux of the narrative lies with Goku and friends exclusively, burdened in carrying a 54-episode-long arc on their shoulders, resulting in Universe 7 not engaging with Jiren, who was established again as the goal, the major hurdle of the tournament, until episode 109, a whole 13 episodes into the
That
tournament
is a
itself.
lot of
Speaking
episodes.
I thought Jiren was at his best when he first went up against Goku. Since the only thing established about Jiren was that he was strong, it was interesting to see how the two would initially interact with each other. Goku burning through his entire catalog of power-ups, techniques, and options in a matter of minutes against Jiren was exciting. Mostly, I think, because it was interesting to see how Goku's flat arc would react to the Jiren situation. However, due to Jiren not having enough development or established character traits to work with Goku effectively, it quickly becomes a light show hinging on a moment worthy of its own praise, the Ultra Instinct transformation. Something Jiren didn't serve to enhance because, on top of having no established goals or charisma, he also does not emote for this either. And that's all part of a broader issue with Jiren. As John Truby wrote in his book, The Anatomy of Story, create an opponent who is exceptionally good at attacking your hero's greatest weakness. And Jiren just doesn't do that. He doesn't seem to have any interest at all in Goku.
No.
The only reason he decided in the first place to give Goku the time of day was because Belmod, his god of destruction, told him to do so specifically. There isn't a clash of ideologies. We know what Goku's character stands for and is all about, but we have no concept of what Jiren likes, thinks, cares about, or has contempt for. This story that's being told is about a tournament, a battle royale that is held by the most elite of the gods, where if you lose, you and your entire universe get wiped from existence. It's been established that Goku cares about the value of life, but it isn't found out until the end of the tournament that Jiren does not. And when that is eventually established, their fists and ideologies clash. Hard. Something I'd like to address as my final point when discussing this final struggle is suspense, and how it's created to work in great effect within a story. To explain how suspense is created, here is a quote from the master of suspense, Alfred Hitchcock.
Oof.
4 people are sitting around a table. 5 minutes of it. Very dull. Suddenly, a bomb goes off. What does the audience have? 10 seconds of shock? Now, take that same scene and tell the audience there is a bomb under that table, and will go off in 5 minutes. Well, the whole emotion of the scene is totally different. Because you've given them that information. You've got the audience working. To use an example, the film
really
Your Name
straightforward
utilizes
example.
this technique quite masterfully. Your Name is about 2 Japanese students, Taki and Mitsuha, as they switch bodies over the course of the film and ultimately fall in love. However, a town-shattering meteor is heading for Mitsuha's village, destined to claim her life and those living there if she doesn't evacuate herself and the town in time. Running for her life, the suspense builds as we, the audience, see the reflection of the meteor bounce off the lake to her left. The music swells, and then... When this happens, as a viewer you are thinking, gee, I hope you're okay and all, but seriously, get moving, there's no time!
Yeah.
Similarly, when Frieza announced that Namek would explode in 5 minutes, the tension and suspense rose
amazing.
and came to a fever pitch near the end
Amazing.
as Goku casually talks with Frieza before ultimately besting him and giving him his energy. The audience thinks, get moving, Goku!
Yeah, you gotta go.
There's no time! Our inability to influence the course of events leads to an experience of tension, and that's how it works. In contrast, the Tournament of Power, while it has a time limit, at no point was Universe 7 numbering in the fewest members. And so, seeing as the suspense didn't come from, will our heroes get the job done before the clock runs out, it becomes, will they have enough stamina to wait out the clock? Which is significantly less compelling.
Not as interesting, yeah. And my friendship is overrated.
Wanting power and strength isn't an interesting trait on its own, and isn't necessarily a bad thing. But when it's made clear that Jiren values strength and power over justice and life, he becomes a villain.
Yeah, make him a
at the
bad
very
guy.
end of the arc, for 5 minutes, before Goku ultimately defeats him. And he ultimately gets a redemption of sorts after hearing a pep talk from Toppo in the following episode. You see, that there is a story that's worth telling, but it should have been told over the course of the entire arc and not a single episode's runtime. There's a very strong case to be made that I'm sure many of you are considering right now that Goku is Jiren's antagonist. Goku is the one that initiates every interaction with the character. He forces him to change and forces him into really tough situations. But there's a problem with that. The story, from the get-go, was not set up for Jiren to be the protagonist, or even the focus really. Quite the opposite. And thus, he as a character doesn't service the narrative as effectively as he should.
Nope.
And that's the problem with Tournament of Power. It isn't about a dynamic between characters. It isn't about anything other than a tournament. And that's it. Every other
no, it's interesting. There's always like some side story, reasoning,
development, and intrigue. So I think saying that the Tournament of Power was more like a sporting event, and not an actual story with a payoff, is accurate. It was enjoyable in parts with its own highlights for sure, but it wasn't really a story with a beginning, middle, and end. No more so than a football game is. There are many things that make this arc a difficult one to praise narratively, but my hope is that being able to identify the issues with this would-be antagonist will help you with your own writing, and hopefully to help you all to avoid making the same mistakes that led to Toei Animation creating the unsatisfying self-contradiction that was Jiren, the passive antagonist. Thanks for watching.
Ciao. Excuse me. God, that was rather rude. I burped again. Yeah, Jiren. Excuse me. Was a weird one. When you first meet him, like, ooh, I hope he's got a lot of stuff going on, and then it's... He hasn't got a lot of stuff going on. Was annoying. I mean, don't get me wrong, those last few episodes are fun to watch, but yeah, there was no real actual tension or anything within the whole tournament. It's just like, okay. And he's right as well, like, if like the numbers actually dwindled down, like, more than they actually did, then there'd still be more tension there, like, oh my god, are we going to lose all the fighters, you know, and at the end it's just, right, time's running out, need to beat him now, need to hit him harder, hit him harder, hit him harder, hit him together harder. But yeah, so cool. Thank you guys very much for watching. What did you guys think of that? What did you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. And I'll see you guys. See you guys next time.